So we cannot end this stream until that bar graph down there says we raised $5 million for Team Waters. Oh God.
What if I told you, MrBeast, the internet's nicest guy just managed to make people feel like their donations were worthless, live, in front of millions? This wasn't some minor slip-up. During his Team Water live stream, the one that pulled in a jaw-dropping $12 million for charity, Jimmy Donaldson wasn't being celebrated as a hero. Instead, fans were accusing him of guilt-tripping influencers, pressuring his peers, and even mocking donations that most of us would consider life-changing money. Think about that for a second. A $15,000 donation dismissed as pocket change. Viewers who tuned in to support clean water projects walked away feeling like their own $5 or $20 didn't matter at all. Suddenly, the biggest fundraiser in YouTube history turned into a spectacle of debt collecting, awkward phone calls, and guilt trips that left fans asking, was MrBeast doing this for charity or for clout?
You guys are very good at what you do. Well, I just want to tell you, I think what you're doing is awesome. Thank you for doing it, and I'd love to close out and get you 12 million, so count me in for 500,000.
No shot. Wait, are you serious?
Yes.
No shot.
100%.
And here's where it gets even messier. The way he cornered influencers live on stream didn't just raise eyebrows. It made many of them visibly uncomfortable. Clips of those moments spread faster than the charity total itself, flipping what should have been a feel-good event into one of the most controversial streams of his career. But how did it all go so wrong? On paper, the Team Water livestream should have been one of MrBeast's proudest achievements. Partnering with XQC and Aiden Ross on Kick, the marathon stream wasn't just about raising money for clean water, it was about breaking records. And by the end, it had $12 million poured in, making it the most successful charity livestream ever. But if you watched closely, something felt off. From the very beginning, Jimmy set a tone that was more aggressive than inspiring. Instead of celebrating every donation, he drew a hard line in the sand. We cannot end this stream until that bar says $5 million.
We cannot end this stream until that bar graph down there says we raised $5 million for Team Waters.
That single sentence transformed what could have been a relaxed charity drive into a high-pressure countdown, where the vibe wasn't gratitude, it was urgency. When the flood of viewer donations slowed down, things shifted again. MrBeast didn't thank the audience for what they had already given. Instead, he looked straight at the camera and said, "We might need to make some calls. These guys aren't donating enough."
We might need to make some calls. These guys aren't donating enough.
For longtime fans used to seeing Jimmy hand out money with a smile, this moment was jarring. He wasn't encouraging generosity. He was treating the stream like a collection agency. And then came the comment that turned an already tense broadcast into a PR nightmare. After someone dropped a donation of $15,000, a life-changing amount for most people.
We'll get a 15 grand in there. We'll get a 15
grand? Okay, hey, donate it live on stream. Shout out to Rug.
100%, we got you at 15.
All right, thank you, man. Catch you later.
Let's go.
Jimmy did some quick math on stream and laughed. What percent of 8 million is 15 grand? That's like 0.0001%. To him, it was a joke. To the viewers, it was insulting.
What percentage 15 grand of 8 million? Someone do the, hey, look, can you do the math? What percent of $8 million is $15,000?
Because here's the truth. For millions of fans watching, scraping together $20 for a cause like this is a sacrifice. Hearing that even $15,000 didn't make a dent sent a brutal message. If 5 figures means nothing, then what does your $5 mean? That single moment set the tone for the rest of the night. And it's why, despite raising record-breaking numbers, people weren't praising MrBeast when the stream ended. They were furious. If mocking donations wasn't enough, what came next pushed the whole stream into debt collector territory. First, there was XQC. Everyone knew he had already agreed behind the scenes to donate $100,000 once his chat's contributions were added in.
I need confirmation, X. Are you? Oh wait, before you reveal it.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
X, you're doing it?
I'm doing it.
X is gonna do this.
Yeah.
But that wasn't enough for Jimmy. Live, in front of hundreds of thousands of viewers, he leaned in and asked, "Where's that 100 G's?"
Debt collector here, where's that 100 G's?
XQC laughed it off nervously, replying, "Dude, why am I getting pressed like this? I told you I'd do it after my stream."
Dude, what the hell? Why am I getting pressed like this? Dude, I haven't streamed it. Like I said, I'm doing 100 and then whatever my chat donates. I told you that.
Even then, Jimmy wouldn't let it go until XQC reminded him of their private agreement. The whole exchange left fans asking, Was this charity, or was it Jimmy publicly cashing in favors? Then came the Sophie Rain call, the one that went viral for all the wrong reasons. Jimmy didn't even have her number, so he called a mutual friend to get it, then put her on the spot with the line, "I heard you make more money than LeBron James. So would you mind donating?"
I remember seeing that you make more money than LeBron James now, if that's correct, or something like that. And LeBron James, would you mind donating to help people in need? Every dollar donated is a year of clean water for someone in need.
Sophie, luckily, was willing. She shocked everyone by pledging a jaw-dropping $1 million.
I want to donate $1 million.
Jimmy was stunned, but the audience caught something else. The manipulation baked into his pitch. Flattery mixed with guilt, all while Sophie was broadcasted to millions. Fans debated if she gave out of genuine desire, or because refusing in that moment would have made her look stingy. But the most uncomfortable moment might have been Corinna Kopf. Late at night, Jimmy woke her up with a surprise call after seeing a viral clip where she casually mentioned having $14 million in an account. Right there on stream, he basically offered to spot her donation up front. "Just name a number, I'll donate it for you and you can pay me back later." Cornered, half asleep, Corinna agreed to $20,000.
Let's do 20,000.
Let's go. Thank you. All right, enjoy your sleep.
Jimmy cheered, but the damage was done. Viewers couldn't shake the feeling that he had trapped her. Instead of looking like a generous act, it felt transactional, like a favor she couldn't refuse. And it didn't stop there. Trainwrecks, Asmongold, even his own co-hosts got called out, with Jimmy casually announcing how much each of them still owed. At one point, he bluntly told the stream, "Train's in for $600K, and X and Aiden still have $400K to donate." One of them shot back immediately, "No, I'm not doing 400. The tension was obvious, and fans clipped it instantly. What should have been wholesome moments of generosity kept turning into scenes of discomfort. And the more Jimmy pushed, the more fans felt they were watching less of a charity stream and more of a hostage negotiation. For MrBeast, the live stream ended with a massive victory, $12 million raised. But for many fans, it ended with a sour taste. And it wasn't about the cause, it was about how they felt dismissed in the process. The $15,000 comment hit especially hard. On stream, Jimmy laughed it off as a meaningless 0.0001% of the goal. But for viewers, that number wasn't just math, it was personal. Fans who could only afford to give $5 or $20 suddenly felt like their donations didn't matter at all. One commenter put it bluntly, "If $15,000 is nothing to him, then what's my $20 worth? Literally nothing." And that's where the betrayal sank in. People wanted to feel part of something bigger. They wanted their $5 to mean just as much as Sophie Rain's million. Instead, the message they heard was that only six-figure checks really counted. It's why clips from the stream didn't go viral for the charity milestones. They went viral for the guilt tripping. Fans wrote things like, "This isn't charity anymore. It's a pyramid scheme." And, "He's not encouraging generosity, he's forcing people to pay up." Even longtime supporters admitted, "I used to admire him, but this just feels like debt collecting." The contrast to other creators made things even worse. Ryan Trahan's fundraiser for St. Jude was constantly held up as the right way to do it. Ryan celebrated every donation, even $1, with the same excitement as a huge gift. Fans noticed, saying, "Ryan was grateful for what he got. MrBeast only cared about going viral with big clips." And that difference mattered. Trahan came off as genuine and thankful. Jimmy came off as ungrateful, dismissive, and out of touch. Instead of strengthening his bond with fans, the stream cracked it wide open. For a creator who built his empire on generosity, being accused of making people feel worthless for giving what they could was a devastating blow. As the backlash spread, another issue began surfacing, one that wasn't just about pressure, but about credit. Fortnite streamer Nick E30 said what a lot of creators were already thinking. If you donate huge amounts on MrBeast's stream, the headlines won't mention your name. They'll just say, "MrBeast raises $10 million. In Nick's words, it's not Bill Bob donating $1 million that gets the recognition. It's gonna be MrBeast. That observation struck a nerve. Because while Jimmy positioned himself as the face of the campaign, the people actually writing the six-figure checks risked fading into the background of his brand. And this wasn't just a creator gripe. Fans noticed it too. One viral comment said, "He's basically taking other people's money, then cashing in the glory for himself." To them, it looked like MrBeast wasn't just fundraising. He was repackaging other people's generosity under his name. Sophie Rain, the influencer who donated $1 million, rushed to defend him. She argued, "He put together the whole charity. Of course he's getting the recognition. Why shouldn't he?" But her response only split the audience further. Supporters agreed with her. Jimmy organized the campaign, so naturally he'd get the spotlight. Critics fired back that real generosity means amplifying others, not absorbing all the credit. And then came the hypocrisy accusations. Fans pointed out that just weeks earlier, Ryan Trahan raised over $11 million for St. Jude's. MrBeast donated to that fundraiser too, but only $50,000. Now, 50 grand is an enormous amount of money to most people, but when you're pressuring other creators to give $100,000 or more, while your own donation to someone else's charity barely cracks the top 60, it looks different. One fan wrote, "He gave Ryan $50K, but expects people worth a fraction of him to cough up 6 figures? That's insane." In short, people began questioning if Jimmy was holding others to standards he didn't hold himself to. Was he truly leading by example, or just leading by pressure? That shift in perception, from MrBeast, the most generous creator alive, to MrBeast, the guy guilt-tripping peers while pocketing the credit, was one of the biggest cracks in his once bulletproof image. On paper, MrBeast's fundraiser was an undeniable success. $12 million for clean drinking water. That's life-changing for millions of people around the world. But here's the uncomfortable question fans couldn't ignore. Do the ends justify the means? Because while the number looks incredible in headlines, the way it was raised told a different story. Public callouts, guilt trips, ridiculing donations that would have put most people in debt. That doesn't just raise money, it raises doubts. Philanthropy is supposed to be built on generosity. People give because they want to, not because they're cornered into it. But watching Jimmy dial influencers in real time, pressuring them with lines like, "What's a number you'd like to donate? I'll spot you if you can't right now."
What's a number that, you'd like to donate?
Didn't look like encouragement. It looked like obligation. An obligation changes everything. If you donate because you feel trapped or embarrassed, is it really generosity? Or is it just self-preservation in front of a live audience? Fans also pointed out another problem: respect. A charity stream should uplift both the cause and the people contributing to it. Instead, many felt Jimmy's approach stripped away dignity, turning giving into a transaction and gratitude into pressure. One viewer summed it up perfectly. It stopped feeling like charity and started feeling like a performance. And that performance has bigger consequences than just one live stream. If this style of fundraising becomes the norm, where influencers are publicly shamed into giving and smaller donors are dismissed, then charity itself risks turning into a spectacle. Less about helping people, more about making content. Which raises the real question: is a record-breaking donation total worth it if people walk away doubting the integrity of the entire thing? When fans tried to make sense of the controversy, one name kept coming up again and again: Ryan Trahan. Just weeks before MrBeast's Team Waterstream, Ryan had wrapped up his penny challenge fundraiser for St. Jude. His goal was simple: start with 1 penny, travel across all 50 states, and raise as much money as possible along the way. By the end, he had raised over $11 million. But what stood out wasn't just the total, it was his attitude. Ryan treated every single donation like it was priceless. $1 got him genuinely excited. $10? He'd celebrate like it was 1,000. Fans loved it because it felt sincere. People walked away feeling like their small contribution mattered just as much as the big ones. That gratitude kept them giving, and by the end, the results spoke for themselves. Now, compare that to MrBeast. Instead of hyping up small donors, he dismissed $15,000 as irrelevant. Instead of thanking fans, he turned to influencers with lines like, "We're not done yet. Where's the rest of your 100 grand?" And instead of turning generosity into a fun challenge, he turned it into a negotiation. The contrast couldn't be sharper. Ryan Trahan built his fundraiser around appreciation. MrBeast built his around pressure. One gave fans a sense of community. The other made them feel like spectators in a high-stakes money grab. And fans weren't shy about pointing that out. Comments poured in. Ryan was grateful for $5, Jimmy mocked $15,000, and Trahan made giving fun. MrBeast made it awkward. Some even went further, saying, Ryan raised almost as much without bullying anyone. That says everything. It's why, despite Jimmy's record-breaking total, Ryan's fundraiser ended up as the gold standard in people's eyes. One showed what generosity looks like. The other showed what happens when generosity turns into expectation. As the dust settled, another question kept surfacing. How much of this money actually came from MrBeast himself? Throughout the stream, Jimmy kept saying, "We raised 12 million," but fans noticed he never clarified his own contribution. Did he quietly donate a massive sum, or did he rely almost entirely on others while taking the credit? Without clear answers, people started filling in the blanks, and the theories weren't flattering. Some viewers argued that if Jimmy is worth close to $1 billion, why not just write a check himself? Why pressure peers and guilt-trip influencers on stream when he could have easily covered a huge portion of the goal? As one fan put it, if you can buy islands for content, but you can't put in $1 million for charity without calling people live, what does that say about your priorities? And then came the issue of framing. By saying, "we raised," instead of "they donated," Jimmy blurred the lines between who really made the difference. Fans accused him of rebranding other people's generosity as his own accomplishment, a subtle but powerful way of keeping the spotlight on himself. This fed into a deeper criticism that his philanthropy was starting to look performative, less about solving problems, more about generating viral clips. When Sophie Rain pledged $1 million live, the donation wasn't celebrated as her act of kindness. It was clipped, uploaded, and rebranded as a MrBeast moment. Some even called it charity porn, fundraising packaged as entertainment, where the focus isn't the cause, but the spectacle. A flashy number on a screen, guilt-tripping phone calls, and awkward influencer cameos made the campaign feel more like a reality show than a humanitarian effort. And here's the irony. The lack of transparency didn't just hurt Jimmy's reputation, it hurt the cause itself. Fans who felt disrespected weren't talking about clean water in Malawi or Bangladesh. They were talking about whether MrBeast had just pulled off the biggest clout-chasing stunt of his career. By the time the stream ended, the number everyone should have been talking about was $12 million raised for clean water. But that's not what dominated the conversation. What spread across TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube was clip after clip of Jimmy pressing influencers, mocking donations, and brushing off fans who gave what they could. And those clips went viral for all the wrong reasons. The most shared moments weren't the charity milestones or the celebratory countdowns. They were the awkward silences, the forced laughter, the influencers squirming as Jimmy asked them live on air how much they plan to give. For a creator whose entire brand has been built on generosity, the reaction was brutal. Fans flooded comment sections with words like manipulative, tone-deaf, and out of touch. One viral tweet summed it up. "This isn't the wholesome MrBeast we signed up for. This is Jimmy in his villain era." And that phrase stuck. Villain era. For years, people joked that MrBeast was too good to be true, that no one could keep up the saintly image forever. To them, this live stream was the mask slipping. The guy who used to hand strangers free cars was now making millionaires squirm on a live stream while accidentally making his fans feel worthless. Of course, not everyone agreed. Some defended him, pointing out that at least he was pressuring rich creators and not his everyday fans. He's squeezing money out of millionaires for charity. That's a win in my book, one commenter argued. But even those defenses couldn't fully erase the bigger problem. If fans felt unappreciated, if smaller donors felt invisible, then the whole point of community-driven charity collapses. And that's the irony of the fallout. MrBeast walked away with the biggest number ever for a charity livestream, but a chunk of his audience walked away questioning his intentions. Instead of strengthening his brand, the campaign left cracks in it. Cracks that fans are now watching closely. In the end, the controversy around the Team Water stream wasn't just about MrBeast. It was about something bigger. How online charity is changing. On one hand, you can't deny the outcome. $12 million raised for clean drinking water is extraordinary, and it will help millions of people worldwide. But the way it was raised left a mark that can't be ignored. Because charity isn't only about the final number on a screen, it's about how you get there. When small donations are brushed aside, when peers are cornered into giving, and when generosity is turned into a spectacle, the spirit of giving is lost. Fans don't want to feel like their $5 doesn't matter. Creators don't want to feel like they're being strong-armed into coughing up 6 figures. And audiences don't want to watch fundraising turn into public debt collecting. This is why so many people pointed back to Ryan Trahan. Not because he raised a similar amount, but because he reminded people what charity should feel like: community, gratitude, and joy. And that comparison may haunt MrBeast for a long time. Because the real question isn't whether Jimmy can raise record-breaking totals. He's already proven that. The real question is whether people will still believe in his brand of philanthropy if they feel disrespected in the process. And maybe that's the lesson hiding beneath all this drama. In the world of online charity, gratitude will always outshine guilt. Because at the end of the day, if even $15,000 doesn't make a dent, then what does that say about the $20 you and I scraped together to give?